And just come straight through the entranceway, and straight away I got some really interesting plants. Some palms, fishtail palms I think they're called. Just the raggedy type leaves. A beautiful, is it an agave? I think it's an agave. I'll have a look. Yes, it's an agave. Wow, that's lovely. They're little aloes. Got some interesting plants here, a mixture of succulents, cacti, and then tropical right nearby. John's just gone down to have a look. What's the name of the lake here? It's Lake McDonald. Alright, so these look fairly old, so I don't know how old this park is, but the trunks are quite big, and yeah, the fronds get quite big, as you can see up there. One right up there. And coming down the walkway, we've got lots of little picnic areas. We've seen a few already. It's lovely. Under shelter. Now, this rather uninspiring brick structure here, you can go around to the other side of it and you'll see that it's actually far from uninspiring, so let's go and do that. So here we are on the other side of that brick wall. What we've got here is a lovely amphitheatre with the lake as a backdrop. Quite impressive. Heaps of seating. What a nice setup and backdrop. So we sat down and contemplated the world for a couple of moments. Now we're off to another part of the gardens. So they've got a good range of plants here, so the birds seem to like it because there's a variety of different bird sounds here. And you may be able to hear it in the background, kookaburra. I think that tree, we've seen that before. It's I don't know how you pronounce it, Bahania, and it's also called an orchid tree as a common name. Let's have a look. So here's a close-up of some of the flowers, and I guess they do resemble an orchid a little bit. And the other thing I noticed straight away is you can hear bees humming away, so they clearly like it too. So here we're in a little shady section and got little native ferns growing there, and instantly this is like several degrees cooler. Just go up ahead into the sunlight now. Up ahead, love these palms, seen them around before. I think they even grow in Adelaide. They're very versatile. They grow up at Cairns, Sarbal or Sabal, and love the green-grey texture, huge fronds. They're very spectacular. Even the trunks are nice. Got lots of good texture there on the trunks. Look at that. They've really got some substance to it, those fronds. And then John's going, look at this, look at this. So I've got to go around the back and see what he's found. Right, so just coming around to the back a little bit. Got some nice bromeliads there, and they're enjoying the sun. And croton. So this is subtropical, this area. So they seem to be doing okay out in the open. Oh, size of this one, yeah. It's impressive. And you get close and you can see some of them have got some pretty nasty looking thorns on the edge. And look, there's an agave that has flowered. Follow the trunk around. It's set seed. Probably flowered quite a while ago. Pretty impressive. And some heliconias around here. These are called, I think they're called Red Christmas or something like that. They're very low and flowers are really nice. I've seen these in Cairns Botanic Gardens. They can grow as far as south as Melbourne in a protected environment. Right, let's move on to another area. That's a nice little Dracaena. I think it's called Song of India. And it's a few little cordyline, some spiny bromeliads, I believe. They've got cards with the names on it, but they're a bit faded. Right, this is an example of one. So you've got to get right up to read. Oh, I've got my shadow on there. But yeah, they're very faded. Okay, now we've got some kookaburras making a bit of noise. Oh, and they promptly stopped, of course, as soon as I get my camera going. So this is an example of the little vistas they have. They've put some bench seats there and you've just got a little view out to the water. Quite pleasant. And there's quite a lot of bird activity over there in those trees behind where John was standing. Some good sized bird nest ferns here, surrounded by bromeliads and making their way up the trunk as they like to do. Over here I've seen this plant a lot in this area, so it must be very well suited to subtropical. And lovely big leaves. I think they self-seed a bit, that's why you see them a lot around. Got no idea what it's called. And, oh, John's pointing to the bromeliads. Yeah, very impressive. Going up. They're just making their way up. I'm sure they're probably giving it a bit of a start, but they're doing their own thing now. And this is quite a nice little grassed area. And then you've got just a bit of a circle of palms around the outer edge. So a bit of a dappled canopy down below. Plenty of light to grow grass. That's quite nice. This is a nice little area here. There's just a breeze started to come up and there's a bit of rustling, and these big large leaves up here, every now and then one of them just drops and flutters down. Creates a lovely little sound effect. And something about the sun shining through part of the leaves makes it really interesting as well. So over here on the lake, got a couple of pelicans. They look like they're just resting. John and I are really enjoying this park. It's bigger than we thought it would be, and it's got a lot of variety. So look at this, love this stringy bark. The texture, like it peels off like paper. And you can see all the way up, has that same effect. So continuing on through a little bit of a Philodendron area. You've got some pandanus growing here as well with the root system, and then a little canopy there. These are quite small. We've seen lots of bigger ones, but still nice to see them. Yep, and this little tree, right, you've got a stump. Oh, it actually looks, and then in there you've got a little stag horn or elk horn. The sun shining through the leaves of the palm again. Interesting bird sounds made. And more interesting bird sounds. Can't see them, so can't identify them at all. Up in the palm area somewhere. And more of these bromeliads, they're taking over. Come back in 1,000 years' time and they've probably grown over the top of everything. Oh, there's a nice little flower. Another bromeliad of some sort. They've left quite a few logs around and so on, and that's really good for the wildlife. So I'm glad they haven't made it all tidy, cleaned everything up, because that's really going to encourage the wildlife. And then you get the insects and the birds and so on. That's great. Oh, look at these. They're handling the sun really well. Okay, here we've got a Gymea lily in flower. Excuse me, John's head. Sun's in the wrong position and I can't go trampling through the garden. But yeah, quite a spectacular flower.
Like cantaloupe.
Oh, that's they call that a foxtail fern, I think.
You're very good.
But it's not a fern. That's the common name. It's actually in the asparagus family, I think.
You're right, yeah.
Oh gosh, I'm right again. Well, there you go. And I promise I didn't cheat. I didn't look at the sign.
Nice, isn't it? I've seen those before.
No, that's an old-fashioned plant. You used to be able to buy them as house plants.
Yeah?
Or garden plants, actually. They're pretty tough in Adelaide. Oh look, I like these. The hanging down kind of aerial roots of these plants. John's spotted the zebra plant, Calathea zebrina, and another one next to it. Some of the leaves look a bit ratty, but there's a few nice ones still left. Left or right? Let's go right. So I like the way they've got this fairly accessible, most of the area, to wheelchairs and prams and so on. The paths are fairly wide, apart from a few areas like that, for example, a short little steep section, but otherwise good, fairly smooth, easy access. Here we've got one of the fan palms. We saw heaps of those up a lot higher north in Queensland. This is a little baby one, so getting up close and personal, and it's always a great view from underneath. I just love it. Really get to appreciate the structure. Right, so we've come back to the car park area and ready to hop in the car and drive along to a lookout point now. And lots of machinery going now, so glad we're actually getting out of here. And finishing off, having a quick look at this lovely monstera that's just starting to make its way up that tree. So it's goodbye from Leanne in Adelaide.